Hi everyone, in this tutorial we are going to create a WordPress theme from scratch. That means that we will be coding the PHP, HTML, CSS on our own from the scratch. Most of you would be wondering right now that why there is a need to code a WordPress website when WordPress is offering us drag and drop features. So for the time being, I agree that WordPress is offering the drag and drop feature, and it is a hell lot easier to install and create a website. But when it comes to make changes, then it gets a little trickier. It's basically like you are building your own house. You know how many rooms you want, where you want your dining room, where you want your bedrooms. Okay, so that is exactly something like that. You will be creating your theme from scratch. Everything will be yours, from design to code to implementation. Okay, so let's just begin creating the WordPress theme from scratch. Okay, so in order to do that, first of all you need to have a WordPress installed in your computer. So just go to wordpress.org and download. And so when you type the query here, download WordPress, it will take you here. Just open this link, download WordPress. Okay, so in this website just click on download WordPress, whichever version is currently going on. So download it. It will download you a zip file. Okay, so something like that. I have already downloaded it. So when your download is complete, just extract this. All right, let it extract. So it will take a little bit of time to extract the files. Let it extract. Okay, so now that it have extracted, open this in the WordPress folder. So what you have to do is you have to copy this WordPress folder. Okay, you have to copy this WordPress folder and you need to paste it in your XAMPP or VAMP directory, whichever you are using. I am using XAMPP, so I am going to paste this in my XAMPP directory. So I will open my XAMPP, then I will open htdocs where our project files are located. So htdocs, and I will paste it here. So you see I've already pasted my WordPress folder. Okay, so this is the must do step. Okay, so inside the WordPress folder, as you can see, there is WP admin, WP content, and WP includes. The WP content is mostly the folder where our themes file will go. So if you see, currently this is my custom theme, so just ignore it. So initially when you download it, you will see 3 or 4 themes here. So mine are 2015, 16 and 17. You would be different, but there would be some built-in themes from present already. Okay, so now that we have WordPress installed in our computer, and in order to check that, but make sure first that your XAMPP server is running, your Apache services are running. Okay, so open your XAMPP control panel and make sure that XAMPP Apache services are running. So I've just opened my XAMPP server. Okay, yes, so as you can see, the services Apache is currently on. All right, so in order to see whether your WordPress is installed or not, just go to localhost / the folder name was WordPress and just type WP admin. All right, if the WordPress is installed, it will take you to the dashboard of the WordPress. That means the WordPress is fully installed. Okay, so what we want to do next, we want to open a editor. Before doing that, we need to create our first theme folder. So inside htdocs, WP content and themes, just make a new folder here and name your theme anything you want. I'd say for this tutorial, learn WordPress. Okay, so I'm named my theme learn WordPress. So coming back to the dashboard, or rather open an editor, whichever editor you are using. I am using Visual Studio Code. Okay, so open your editor and open the directory that we just created, that is learn WordPress. Okay, so we have just created this directory. There are no files present in this directory for the time being, and the directory is completely empty. As you can see, there is no files in the directory. So we will create our first file and we'll name it index.php. Also we will create another file here in this directory and we'll name it styles.css. okay, so we have created, as you can see, we have created our theme folder learn WordPress, and inside we have created our PHP file and a CSS file. Okay, so inside the CSS file, for the time being, we are just making a comment to learn WordPress know that this is the theme. So inside the CSS we would write theme name, whatever name we just assign, that is learn WordPress. Okay, so select all of this and make it as a comment. For the time being, that is what we are writing into our styles file. So coming back to our index.php file, just start the PHP script. So as this is a completely PHP file, .php as the extension is indicating, so we just don't want, or we can just skip closing the PHP tag as it is completely the PHP file. And if it was a HTML file, then if we have opened the PHP tag, we have to also close the PHP tag, but this is not the case. This is entirely a PHP file, so we can open the PHP tag and we can skip closing the PHP tab. Alright, so now that we have our PHP tag open, just input anything here. So alright, before opening the PHP tag, let's just input here h1 tag and inside hello world. Okay, save this. So now go to the dashboard and you can change the themes by going to, okay, first I want to show you how your default theme looks like. Okay, so open a new tab and press localhost/WordPress. Sorry for the misspell, localhost/WordPress. Enter this and it will take you to the currently activated theme. Right, so this is the theme that is currently activated. Okay, now we want to activate our default, our customized theme, so that option will be in the appearance in themes. So it will take you to the currently available themes in your WordPress dashboard. So while it is opening the themes, I'm sorry for the bit of a hang here. Okay, so now these are the available themes. So okay, so we just created learn WordPress, which is not currently visible here. Okay, so if I refresh this page, let me go back and check. This is the learn WordPress. If I click on add new theme, it will take me to the dashboard. Okay, coming back. Okay, so at the bottom here it's saying that the broken theme is learn WordPress style sheet is missing. So why it is saying that style sheet is missing? Style.css, if we go and rename it to style.css. Okay, so now if I go and refresh this page here, okay, so now it has picked our theme learn WordPress. So just activate this theme here. Okay, now our new theme is activated. So let's just go and check how our theme looks like. So as you can see, that in our index page we just echoed or printed our heading which says hello world. So now our theme looks something like that. So that means we just completed our first step. We just created our default customized theme and activated this. Okay, so now we want to do the real stuff here. Okay, so coming back to our index file, let's begin the PHP code here. Okay, so if we go to our dashboard, okay, in our posts, you can see we currently have 2 posts in our dashboard. So what we want to do is we want to quickly output the titles of these posts. So as you know, there is a bit of long procedure of doing that in the normal PHP, but WordPress has built-in functions which let us do all of these procedures very quickly and efficiently. So let's go back to our PHP file and let's just put a if statement here. If there is a function have posts, there's a function, it will check whether or not there are posts or not. If have posts colon, okay, and inside the if we will put a while statement. While it will check whether, as long as there are posts available, have posts, and there are posts available, it will do a specific function, that is the post. Okay, all right, so we will end our and while here. Okay, so just press tab here again while, and then coming back we need to put the if else structure, else structure, and in else structure we would say if there is no post found, we would say just echo a paragraph. We will say no content found, or rather we can do something like this: echo no content found, echo in up paragraph. Okay, no content found, and then we will close our and if. This is a structure. Okay, so now that we have to come here and we will say that first of all let's just create the PHP scope here to make it easier to output the style that we want. So here we would end the PHP scope, we would code the HTML here easily, and again we would start the PHP scope here and definitely else echo and if, and we will definitely, okay, let's just close it here. So now here what we can do, we can output, so this entire loop, it will run for as many times as much post there are available in dashboard. So for the timing there are 2 posts available in our dashboard, so this post is going to run for 2 times. Okay, so while have post, it will do a function the post. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to say that for each post, for the timing, just say title goes here. Okay, save this, go to your browser and refresh the page. As you can see, there are 2 posts here, and for that the loop ran for 2 times and it printed title goes here. So now what we want to do is we want to paste or show these titles over here. Okay, so for that go back to the character, and in here there is a PHP function PHP which says PHP the title. Close the PHP tag. Okay, so the title will print out the title of each post while circling through this loop. Okay, and circling through this while loop. So let's just save this and go to our browser, refresh this. As you can see, we now have the titles of our posts which are saved in our database. As you can see in our database, there are two posts, example post and hello world. So the title are here. Okay, so going back to our editor, so we are printing the title of the post here. We also want to paste or print out the post description also, whatever is written inside the post. Okay, so in order to do that, let's just create a p tag here, and inside the p tag let's create a php tag, php, and the function is the title, and the tag would be the content. Okay, close PHP. So let's go to our browser here and refresh it. Uncoder call to undefined function. Okay, so I misspelled it. Go back to the file here and just change the spelling here, content. Save this, refresh this, and you can see that we are also accessed the post description or the post body. Okay, so put the editor back. Alright, so now what we want to do is, these are the post title, but still there is no link. What we want to do is, if we click on this title, we want it to take us to a separate page where only this post with this title is visible. Okay, so we want to create this a link. So go back to our editor, there is the title, so just enclose this title inside a link here. Okay, so now that is enclosed in a link here, so just, and inside the href we are going to use a PHP function which is the permalink. This is as easy as that. WordPress has built-in functions which let us do such type of tasks very easily, so the permalink will do the trick for us. So inside the href we have used a PHP function which is the permalink, and let's save it. Go back to our editor, refresh this, and you can see now the links are enclosed in our link, and if we click on this link, it will take us to a separate page with only this post visible. Go back, if you click on hello world, it will take us to a page which will show just this post. So that's good. Okay, so go back to our editor. Alright, so now in our index.php at the very top we would say that get header. This is a PHP function, and just before the closing PHP tag we would say get footer. This is also a function. Save it, and let's just see what happens. When I refresh the page, you can see there is a header at the top where our theme name is present, a little phrase underneath, and the footer here with the HR and some text. Okay, so that the function basically did for us. But what if we want to do all of this on our own? If we want to customize this, if we want to change the name or change the way it appears, so how we can override that? In order to do that, go back to our editor, and in your theme folder create a file which says header.php, and another file which says footer.php. okay, so now we have two files, header.php and footer.php. so let's start with the header.php. we will start the top type HTML, and we'll start the HTML tag here. But what is different here, that we are starting the HTML tag in the header PHP file, and we will close the HTML tag in our footer file. We are opening HTML in the header and closing it in the footer.php. Okay, so we will write down the remaining structure. In the HTML, we would first say head, okay, and after that we'd say body. And exactly like what we did with HTML, we would close this body tag in our footer before the HTML tag closes. So here is the thing. Okay, so now that we have done that, so we will, in the header section, we would say some meta chart set equals, so we will not do this manually, instead we would use a PHP function. So we would use a meta chart set type here. Let me write this from the very beginning. So we would start a meta tag here, chart set equals, we would use a PHP function here, PHP blog info. Inside the parentheses I'd say chart set. I would close the PHP chart set, sorry, and close the quotations and close PHP and close meta tag. Okay, so meta chart set PHP blog info. And another thing to make our theme responsive is we will do meta name equals viewport, and content equals width is equal to device width. Okay, close the meta tag, save this. Okay, so for the title, let's say title. All right, and the title would say PHP blog info. Inside parentheses I'd say the name. Okay, and close it here, close the PHP tag. Alright, just before closing the header section, just enclose a PHP function here which says PHP WP head. So in future when we are adding some plugins or stuff like that, so WordPress will know to add any additional information in this header section. Okay, so just add this pwp head. Okay, so now that we have added it, save that. Before going further, let's add some boring stuff too. So in our HTML tag we would need to specify which language we are using, so we'd say HTML and then we'll start our PHP and we'd say language attributes. Okay, close the PHP tag. And in our body tag we are going to add a class here, which basically is built-in function from WordPress that will make us easier to target different classes and different pages using our style CSS. So we would get into the functionality later in our tutorial, but for the time being let's just add the class here. So in the body tag, just open PHP tag here and say body class. Okay, so now that's it for that. Alright, so in the headers body, what we want to basically show in our header section on the page. So header section, let us just create a heading here. Okay, and inside that heading we want to say or rather than wrapping it in an h1 tag, let's just comment here to make the things easier. Header, so here header is starting, and create a header tag. Alright, inside that header tag, let's go into the header tag and give it a h1, and inside that h1 start a PHP tag and say here blog info inside that just say the name. It will print out the name. Okay, we will also want to add a little tagline to our blog, and to do that let's put that in a little heading, little smaller heading, h5, and start php, just say blog info, and in parentheses just say the description. Okay, close the php, and for the time make just give a class here to this header class equals site header. We will populate this later in our tutorial in our style sheet. Okay, so what we have created up till so far here is we have created our header here, header. In our header tag we have given it a class of site header. Okay, inside that we have created an h1 tag. Inside the h1 tag we are echoing our site name, and then in h5 the description. Save this and let's see how it gives the output. So when I refresh this, as you can see that in our header file we are just printing out the name of our theme, which is Learn WordPress, and the tagline just another website. So you might be wondering where we have set the value for the title and for this tagline just another WordPress site. So if you go to your dashboard here, you will find all of these attributes there. So if you go to the settings here, all right, you will see the title and you will see the tagline. You can change these attributes from here, from the dashboard, instead of going and hard coding those fields in the code. So that is a good thing. Okay, so you can see now we want that if we click on our title here, or the header title here, it takes us back to the home page. For example, if we go to the example post here, the header will still be visible there, but we will not be able to click here to take us back to the home page. So we want to enclose this in a link tag, so that if we click on that link it takes us back to our home page. So in order to do that, there is our theme name in the header. Just enclose this in a link tag. Okay, close the link here after the title. So in the URL just use a PHP function, PHP, which is echo home URL. Okay, and close the PHP. Save this, go back to the browser. If you refresh it, you can see that the title now has a link. So if we go to the post here, this is a single post page, and if we click on the title here, it will take us back to the home page. So it is as easy as that. Okay, alright, so now for the timing our header is complete. Let's head to our footer, and just as we did in our the header file, we will echo a PHP WP footer. As you remember, in our header file we included our PHP WP head here. Okay, and in the footer we are including PHP WP footer. So in the future when we are going to add some plugin or functionality, WordPress will know where to add that functionality in here. Okay, so coming back, we will create a footer tag here. Okay, inside we will give this footer a class of site footer, and inside that footer class what we want to do, we want to create a paragraph tag, and in that paragraph we are using PHP tag, and we want to just output the name of our theme. Okay, and login phone name, just close that, and after that we are saying that close the PHP tag also, and then just say and ampersand copy and semicolon. It will output a copy mark, and after that we want to output the date. To do that, we will again start the PHP tag and we will say PHP echo, or rather we would say date. Inside we would write a capital Y and that, and close the tag. Save this, and if I go to the browser here and refresh this, you would say learn WordPress and the copyright mark, but the date is not appearing, so I guess I have to also echo this here. Okay, save now. Now when I refresh this, yeah, now the year date is visible. Okay, learn WordPress copyright 2017. So the header is here and the footer is also here. So now for this lesson, most of our coding is done, but the site is looking a little bit dull and ugly because we haven't added any styles to our theme. So let's head to our styles.css and do some basic styling to our body tag. Inside this body tag, let's just say the font family to be Arial, Helvetica, sans serif. Alright, and the font size to be 14 pixel and the color to be a little grayish. Alright, but when I go to the browser and refresh here, you see there is no change. Why that? Because we haven't included our style file in our index or the main file. Okay, we haven't linked this style file. So there are a lot of ways in order to do that. Some people just make a link file and make a link file here and will add that. That is a good way to do that also. But what I do and what I think is the best practice is to create a functions.php file, and inside that functions.php file just make something to add, because eventually you have to create this functions.php file. So let's just create a functions.php file, start the PHP tag. Alright, and then just create a function with what is the name of the theme, learn WordPress underscore resources. Alright, this is a function, learn WordPress underscore resources, and inside the functionality we would say wp enqueue style, and inside the parentheses we'd say style and comma, and we'd say get underscore style sheet underscore URI, get style sheet URI. Okay, alright, so now we have created the function and now we need to call this function. So we'll call this function is add action. Okay, add action, and inside the parentheses we'd say wp enqueue scripts, wp enqueue scripts, and after the comma we need to call the function, which is learn WordPress underscore resources. Okay, so save this, and now if we go back to our browser and refresh this, you would see that the changes took place, and now the font is a little smaller, and whatever we wrote in our CSS file, it just happened. So now we can go and add more functionality in our CSS file. So in our styles, let's just add a line height between the paragraphs. So in the paragraph we'd say line height, let's keep this for 1.65 em for the time being. What this does is, you can see there is a nice space between the lines here. All right, so in our styles we want to also change the link of the colors here, which say a link and a visited should have the color of 00#006EC3, it kind of bluish color. So if I go and refresh this, you would see that the links now have a cool blue color. Okay, so I also want to remove the decoration of the links here. So what I would say that the links text decoration none. This, let's say the line goes. Now it's a bit cooler now. So now I want to create a general layout for our theme. Let's just comment this first. General layout. Okay, for that we'd say div.container max width should be 920 or 960. I'd say 920 pixels. Okay, and after that what we want to do is to set the margin equals 0 auto. It will horizontally central align the content 0 auto, and also I would set the color to be, let's say not the color, actually we'd give a little padding for the smaller devices. Padding from left to be 30 pixel and padding from right to be 30 pixels as well. So let's just change this from 30 to 20. 20 would be enough. Save this. But if I go and refresh this, you would see that actually no change takes place. Okay, that is basically because we haven't added this div container to our files. So go in our header file, and inside that our index, let me say, or rather in our header.php file just before the body class, let's say here div dot, or rather give a space here, div dot container. Okay, and just to align this, we need to be focused on the indentation also, so give it a little bit of indentation. And we have created a div class of container in the header, and we will close this div in the footer just before the body tag. Okay, so in the footer where we are closing the body tag, where is the footer? Here is the footer. Okay, just a second. Again, the footer where we are closing the body tag, just close the div here. All right, save this. Now if I go and refresh this, still no changes. Oh yes, one thing more. Okay, so let's just save this and save the footer file. So let's go and refresh this. Yes, now the changes have taken place. It is centrally horizontally aligned. Okay, and a bit of margin padding also on the left and the right. Okay, so now what we want to do is to really create a line between the posts. Okay, like there are two posts, we want a line here to, you know, make a partition between these posts. So what you say, where we would put that kind of styling? Okay, as you say, we go to our index.php file. That is the portion. No, that is for our header. Okay, and that is for our header. Okay, okay, so instead of going to the post first, let's just make a partition to here. From our header, it will differentiate our header, and one line which will differentiate our footer. So if I go to the style.css file, here I'd say site header. you know what we named it? If class container, inside the header we named it a class of site header. So go here and set site header. Inside that, give it a border bottom of 2 pixel solid and give it a color of somewhat like this grayish color. Site header. Go and refresh this. Let's say a partition here. We exactly want to do this with the footer also. So inside the footer, what we named the class of the footer, we named it site footer. Okay, so go to the styles and say site footer and give it a border, not bottom. All right, just see here, we gave the header a border bottom, so the line is appearing at the bottom, but to the footer we want the line to appear on the top of the footer, so we will not give it a border bottom, instead we will get a border top, and remaining things the same, 2 pixel. Okay, then solid and hash 999. We go and check this. Nothing's happening. Why? Because site footer save. I haven't saved the footer file, I guess. If I go and refresh, nothing's happening. There's a problem here. Class site footer, in this footer, site footer border top 2 pixels solid, and the color is okay, sorry, the problem is here, misspelled solid and 999. Go back to the browser here, refresh this, so there is the line here. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to actually create a dotted line between the post, where the post is finished. I want dotted line to appear to, you know, make a certain partition or space in between to make it look a little nicer. So in order to do that, I want to go to the index. This is the section where our posts are being extracted, and each time there is a new post, it will be extracted here. So we need to put something here to, you know, make a little border. So what I want to do here is, I really want to enclose this thing in an article. Okay, and the article here, and I want to give this article a class of posts. Okay, so now we can go and really make some changes here. So save this file, and in our styles just say article dot posts, give it a border bottom of 2 pixel, not solid but dotted, and a color of a little bit lighter. Okay, save this, go and check. You'd see there is a dotted line after each post. As you can see, the footer and the outline is sticky, so we would have to get a little margin here. So inside our site footer, just give a margin top of 30 pixel, let's say. Yes, so now there is a margin between, but what we want to do is that if there are 10 posts, we want this line to appear after each post but the last one. We don't want this line to appear after the last post. So what we want to do is we say article dot posts last of type. It will select the last item of article, last of type, and inside the parentheses we would say the border bottom to be none. So let's save it and go back to our browser here. If I if I refresh this, so you can see there is no dotted line present at the end of the last post. Okay, so that's basically it for this tutorial, and in the next tutorial we would proceed further and we'll style and add things to our this WordPress theme. So stay tuned and watch the next tutorial to make things better for your theme. Bye.